Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden, and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, the science of getting stuff done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere, and never enough hours in the day. Together, we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus, and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, my guest expert today is Dr. Tonya Lawson. Tonya is a musician, SEO specialist, and planning enthusiast who helps creative entrepreneurs get found online. Her mission is to empower business owners to generate consistent passive leads through strong visibility systems, intentional planning, and sustainable strategy. Tonya blends creativity and data to help entrepreneurs work smarter, not harder, and grow with ease. Tonya, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You're extremely welcome. And whereabouts in the world are you, Tonya?
I am in the United States in the Nashville, Tennessee area.
Oh, very famous part of the United States. Very famous indeed, especially if you're a musician.
Yes.
Yes, and you are, because we found that out in the introduction, didn't we? Anyway, that's me waffling on. Shall we do the questions instead?
Of course.
All right, I'll just get the clock up on the screen. And there it goes. Tonya, could you tell me, please, we've already alluded to it in the introduction, but you tell me a little bit more about who your ideal client is, please.
Of course. My ideal client is a creative entrepreneur who's incredible at what she does, but she's tired of trading hours for dollars. She might be a coach, a designer, a music teacher, or a service provider, but she knows she wants more stability, visibility, and passive income in her business because there are only so many hours in the day. And if you keep trading hours for dollars, you're going to hit the income ceiling. She's driven, she takes action, she's motivated, but she's also overwhelmed by all the content that's floating around online. It gets confusing. She wants a clear, strategic plan to get found without having to spend her entire life on social media promoting what she does. And most importantly, she believes in her own potential. She just needs the systems, the structure, and the visibility tools to put it all together and make it work.
Fantastic. And you've already really well actually covered the problems that you solve. And I also talked about it in the introduction, but feel free, please, at this point to expand upon the kind of problems that you typically solve.
Absolutely. I help creative entrepreneurs stop being invisible online. Most people think they have a visibility problem, but in reality, they have a systems problem. They're posting everything without a plan. They're creating content that no one is actually searching for. And they're relying on algorithms instead of strategy. So I help them clean all that up. I teach them how to build a visibility ecosystem using their website, their social media, their YouTube channel, and their podcast so that they show up when their ideal audience searches any of those platforms for exactly what they offer. And once they're visible, they have the structure to convert that visibility into passive sales.
Fantastic. And so a lovely distinction you're making there. I absolutely adore that. All right. So what is one valuable free action that our audience can implement that will help them to move a little bit towards solving this problem for themselves?
Okay, I love this question because anytime I go on a podcast or anytime I create an offer or a free webinar or whatever, I want you to go home with something that you can actually do. Because otherwise, what's the point? You're just listening to people talk. Before you create anything, whether it be a blog post, a social media post, a podcast episode, or a YouTube video, take 10 minutes to search the terms that your audience would use on Google or Instagram or YouTube. And ask yourself, is anyone searching for this idea I'm about to create? And if they are, what wordings are they using? And what problems keep showing up for them? Then align your content around the actual demand, not just what you feel like posting, but what people are searching for. And that one small habit can completely change the trajectory of your visibility, because when you start answering the questions people are actually answering, they're going to find you.
Fantastic. I completely agree with your opening sentiment about, it's good if people can take something away straight away. So thank you for agreeing to do that with us today. So now that we have a little bit of a better understanding of what you do, because in 3 minutes you can't possibly tell us everything that you do, let's dive briefly into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve your business goals. So Tonya, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits, please?
Absolutely. So stop planning tasks. Start planning for your capacity. Most people overschedule because they're planning as if they have 48 hours in the day. But when you shift your planning based on your true capacity, think your energy, your time, the appointments you have, off days, and life in general, everything starts to get more sustainable. So, a few practical tips: do a weekly brain dump. Get everything swirling in your head onto paper, because you can't prioritize what you can't see. 2, identify your needle movers. Ask what 1 to 3 tasks will actually move me towards my goals, and do those first, because everything else is optional. It's not urgent. 3, make cuts ruthlessly. If you're a creative type like me, you love starting 47 projects at once. But consistency beats intensity. So cut anything that doesn't support your current goals. And then 4, time block around your real life, because your calendar is not a wish list, it is a tool. So schedule in your non-negotiables first, and then see what kind of time you have left, and schedule your time blocks around the time that you actually have left.
Yes, absolutely. You reminded me in the old days when my country, obviously I live in England, moved from the imperial system over to metric. There was talk of a 10-day week. I still pine after a 10-day week. I could really do with those extra 3 days, but sadly it never happened. So we have to make do with what we've got, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So finally, Tonya, what should I have asked you today that I didn't? And your answer, please.
Oh, that's a great question. If I were interviewing me, I would ask, what is the biggest productivity myth people need to stop believing? And the answer to that would be, productivity is not about doing more. Real productivity is about doing the right things with the energy and time you actually have. So most people chase hacks or color-coded systems or that perfect planner, but none of that matters if you're trying to cram 30 hours of work into a 6-hour day. So the real secret is capacity-aware planning. Know your limits, prioritize what actually moves the needle, build your week around your life, not the other way around, and then simplify ruthlessly. Because when you stop trying to keep up and start designing your workflow around how you function the best, your productivity finally becomes sustainable, and so does your business.
Yes, absolutely. I could not agree with you more. I must mention that myself probably 100 times in one way or another in my book, but it's always good to hear it voiced by someone else, and very eloquently and very easy to understand. You've done that as well. So thank you so much. So that's it. We did it in 7 minutes. Look at that. I'll get rid of the clock because now it starts counting up. Well, that's no good, because we don't. That makes us feel like we got more time, and we haven't. But I do have time at this point. As I always do, to ask you another question, which is a two-parter, Tonya, which is part A. How can people reach you? And part B is, do you have like a valuable free resource they could get from you as well? Because although I always say it in a very British way, that's a bit of a cheeky question, I'm actually being very serious, because sometimes people aren't quite ready to take the first step of a big step they may see it as is actually getting in touch with you until they know a little bit more about what you do. And so these valuable free resources are a brilliant way of achieving that.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. And like I said, I want any audience I'm in front of to come away with something that they can take action on. So to get in touch with me, my website is tonyalawson.com. That's TONYALAWSON.com. I'm also on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Dr. Tonya Lawson, at dr.Tonya Lawson. And as far as my free resource, I have a free SEO cheat sheet, and it has in it the basic foundational elements of search engine optimization that apply across multiple platforms, whether you're working your website or your podcast or your YouTube channel or even social media. These SEO tricks will help you start getting found.
Fantastic. And as I always say to people on the few occasions when I've spoken to guests who are dealing with SEO, it's really a huge service when you find someone who's making themselves their business to be an expert on it, because it's changing all the time. And if you're an expert in, I don't know, for example, dog grooming, you don't have time to keep up with the SEO. That's what Dr. Tonya does for you. And that's why you need someone with expertise, because the expertise is part of their job is keeping up to date.
Absolutely. SEO changes faster than the algorithm.
Absolutely. Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. Dr. Tonya Lawson, thank you so much for agreeing to be on Goalbusters today. It's been a masterclass and I've loved everything that you've said. I like it. You probably saw me nodding vigorously. I couldn't knock more vigorously, but I would have knocked my microphone, but I agree with everything you say. Thank you again for appearing on Goalbusters.
Thank you for having me.
You're extremely welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.